All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MMA Plug presented to you by Mile High Sports. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz. Give me a follow along online at Comments from the Peanut Gallery. We are joined with Taylor Mauldin. Taylor will be competing on the Baroka Presents XFC 53 card that's going to be going down on September 20th in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Theater at Virgin Hotels. Taylor, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, real quick before we get into the thick of things, where can people give you a follow?
Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Taylor_Mauldin93.
There you have it right there, folks. Make sure that you give Taylor a follow there so you can keep all the tabs on the updates, latest and greatest as she goes through camp and gets ready for fight night here in just a couple of weeks. You have a big fight on a card that I think is going to have a lot of eyes on it, Taylor. I
Yeah.
think that this weekend of fights for XFC 53, it's going to have a lot of attention on it because there are no other major organizations that have a fight that weekend. It's in Las Vegas. It's coming off of the heels of a couple of really big fight cards, whether it's in the boxing world with Canelo and Crawford or with Noche with the UFC. Being that this is kind of an opportunity that is, for all intents and purposes, going to be all eyes on you, how does that feel?
It's always fun. And you know what's even more fun is I've always wanted to fight in Vegas, and to have that opportunity is always amazing. So get to check that off my bucket list.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like when we start talking about different venues, and I had a conversation with Juan Archuleta, who's on the card too as well, and he's got to fight around some of the most prestigious venues around the world, like Super Saitama in Japan to Madison Square Garden. But he, in his entire career, has never fought in Vegas. So he even said, like that's a big deal for him also to be able to check that box off, to be able to say, yes, this was something that I was able to go and do. And, I think that's awesome that you have the chance to go out there and fight in a venue that's also had a lot of great fights through the years too at the Virgin.
It's definitely fun, and I'm really that just is an added little thing to look forward to.
Certainly, certainly. Now, let's talk about the opponent real quick. Let's talk your matchup with Ellie Rodriguez. Now, she's
Mhm.
training out of Lobo Gym. Is there any initial thoughts that you have on her, or what was the first thing that you went across your mind as soon as that matchup got offered?
Yeah, of course. So initially, you're always hit with that. I think she's like 5-3 or something. Like her record's almost reflective of like something you would be like, oh yeah, she's definitely like a chump. But after doing some digging, you can tell that she's never strayed away from like the tough fights, and that's actually why, she's had that up and down stuff. So it's always you could tell like maybe she's been underestimated because of that, but it's just probably because she's taken some pretty tough fights, and so I'm definitely not underestimating her. She's a nail for sure.
But on the flip side, you've also had a lot of very highly credible experience and highly credible experience in the cage, and then opponents that have done a lot for themselves as well. I mean, you yourself, you won Fight Pass Submission of the Year with a mounted Gogo Plata against a veteran of the Ultimate Fighter. You've shared the cage with other high level veterans who have had a lot of success in other promotions like Tina Black, to a lot of others who, like we say, have done very well. UFC vets in combat jujitsu to so on and so forth, along with just so often being in a training room and just out there and in the area in which you train, there's so much talent that is just, across all of the disciplines. How does all of that factor in for you going into this matchup against someone who also trains with a lot of very decorated MMA boxers in that Lobo camp?
Yeah, of course. Well, I definitely am not sleeping on myself in the sense that I've constantly stayed busy. I've constantly elevating myself, always competing, flying out to jiu-jitsu tournaments, doing all the local events, getting to compete against high level UFC veterans, and being in tough rooms, like going to extreme contours and traveling to get the tough rooms and stuff like that. And I'm not sleeping on myself. I definitely think that I'm very qualified, and I'm really excited anytime I get to step in the cage, and especially off of this last loss, you really get amped up to go in there and try and get that back. And I'm sure just like she is, she's excited to do the same thing.
Totally. Totally. Now, in terms of, just the fight dynamic, and I mean, this is something that you've been totally in the mix of since you were a kid, right?
Yeah, I've definitely like been competing and even traveling to compete since I was a kid. Going across states to compete in karate and things like that. And you're a kid and stuff. And I guess like as an adult now, looking back, I'm like, oh my god, how embarrassing! It's karate, but the pressure was still the same. So whether I was 15 or 8, getting to experience that level of pressure, and I was always the type of kid that I would get to finals and be able to go on stage and compete like that with eyes on me and things like that. As an adult, it's transcended quite well, and I'm just, always in my element in that sense.
How did it help you to have a sibling who was so closely involved with the sport as well through that time?
I know that a lot of people actually know about Lisa, and but what they don't know is like I have had several siblings that actually have fought in MMA and
Okay.
karate as well, and so it was kind of like just really weird in the sense that you don't really hear whole entire families traveling to go do fighting as a family sport, right? You hear about, oh, let's take the kids to soccer practice or whatever. No, we were going across state lines to either do MMA or to do karate and things like that. So, we're just that kind of family. We're combat sports. Whether it was my brother or my sister, that was just something we've always done as a family.
Totally. That's awesome. I didn't know that there was Multivia in the mix. Obviously, with
There's
with
there's more than one crazy Mauldin.
fair enough,
There's
fair enough.
several.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, also along with that, though, along with having your siblings that have helped guide you within your career, as it's been made to my attention, Tatiana Suarez has also been a pivotal figure for you throughout your career. Am I correct in that information?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to train with her quite a few times. We were training partners, probably pretty new in the game, like several years and years ago. That was just something we shared the room with each other quite a few times. So yeah, that's always fun to be able to train with such a high level athlete.
Awesome. Now, in terms of preparation for this fight, who have been some of the people who have really kind of helped get you ready for this? Are you kind of going back and forth between a couple of places, cross training, or staying all in one camp, or what's that looking for you as you prepare for this fight with Ellie Rodriguez?
Yeah, of course. I am looking to make that. Sorry, I'm looking to get into some of the tougher rooms in the sense like going to travel to Las Vegas and cross train with extreme coutures, and I'm constantly working under Lawrence Larkin's wing and Romeo Rom's wing and some of the veterans of just old school UFC and MMA stuff like that. So it's fun.
Just casually throwing out some, big A-lister names over there, or legends of the game out there. Now, will Lorenz be in your corner for this fight? Will
So unfortunately, not for this particular fight. He's going to be taking his family on vacation. But typically, yes, he usually is. I'll have Romeo Rom in my corner as always, but not Lorenz. So usually, I do at times get to have his presence there.
Nice. Okay. Now, I want to just reel this back. It's a little bit more of a lighthearted question, but this is something that I feel like it's unique to each person out there. Is there something that as you're going through camp, and I mean you've always been training, so it's never like you're, an on-season, off-season mode. I'm sure like completely like in the sense of other sports, but naturally when you're in camp and locking in for a target date and trying to peak for a specific moment versus out of camp, you probably have a little bit of guilty pleasures in terms of some snacking or some foods or cheat meals, or for some people it's the pizza. It's football season coming up, so there's a lot of guys that I know that, oh no, we gotta make sure that we're not diving into the wings or any of that sort of stuff. But what is the hardest thing for you to give up or for you to kind of cut back on while you're in camp? Sweets, snacks, meal, whatever.
Okay, so I think I think it's for me, I'm a fatty, so I mean I can really go into detail about all the types of food I love to eat, but I would have to say what is the absolute hardest thing? I know this might sound weird, but peanut butter is like really good in small doses. I don't think I eat like a normal amount of peanut butter. I don't know what it is. And I think like recently like I've like I crave it even more knowing that I can't have it. But yeah, I don't know. Peanut butter on my banana. I'll put it in my vanilla ice cream. I put on everything and I'm just like I really gotta knock it. I'll eat like a chocolate covered banana that's frozen and then I'll put peanut butter on it as like a midnight snack. I haven't in a while, but that's the type of like fatty I am. Okay. I don't know what it is about the peanut butter. I'll eat it on rice cakes. I'll get creative. It'll be like a chocolate covered rice cake, and then I'll just put peanut butter on top with some banana. And I don't know. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know most people are probably like, man, it's those Big Macs that really get to me. No, mine is peanut butter.
No, I totally understand that. And I don't know if do you know who Celine Haga is?
No, I don't.
Well,
Maybe
she's
if I
a
saw her, I probably did.
yeah, I
I
was gonna
would.
say I know she's done a ton of like combat jujitsu events and she's long time pro fighter, all of that. Bounced
Okay.
around from Jackson Wink. She's fought for Fury, a whole bunch of organizations all over the world. But I just say that I used to be roommates with her and then and also with Nicholas Mota, who is an extreme couture guy out there in Las Vegas.
Okay.
The almond butter that they would go through
Mm.
and just like the oh no, like I totally didn't even realize that I just went through this entire jar of almond butter. Yeah, yeah. So I totally
I
get
don't
it.
know.
Just like
I'm
put it
gonna
on
try.
everything.
I'm gonna try it. Maybe you know what? I think I'm at the point where like 125 isn't too harsh on me. I still have been eating the peanut butter, but probably not on the level that I was. Not
Okay.
with the not with a frozen chocolate covered banana, but I'm still eating the rice cakes with peanut butter. But maybe I should give the almond butter a shot. I don't know.
I can tell just by the animation how much you love peanut butter.
I know it's
Like
really
you don't
good.
hide it at all. Like that is like something that is deeply rooted within you. It's
No, I
almost like
feel like
Amanda
it's in
Hebus
my
with chocolate.
yeah, it's in my heart and it's in my stomach that I yearn for it. Okay.
Okay, okay, that's fair enough. Now, another question on the personal side that's fighting adjacent this time. Is
Okay.
there maybe a song lyric, a movie scene, a quote? For some people, it's a Bible passage. Anything along those lines that tells the tale of Taylor for this camp in this fight?
Oh my God. Okay. So,
This is that one that I told you I was going to put you on the spot for.
okay. Can I pick two?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, I know this is already off to a bad start, but it's the song. It's called Rescue. And it's funny because it's been on my mind all day today. And I'm over here, like, in my feelings in the car, like, oh my God, I just love this song. But it's actually like this Christian song. But when I think of it, because I have two little girls, and so I don't know, the song's called Rescue, and there was like this point in time where I got to be like my daughter's like superhero, and she's like 16 now, and so I was just like reflective, and it just amps me up. I'm like, man, I just got done training. I'm like in my car driving home, like, oh my God, like I just love this song. So I think that would be like my lower for this fight camp is like Rescue. And as always, like um there's like this Eminem song is like I don't know, it's something like a you only got one shot, na na na, and that song's always like I listen to it every time. And before like the fights, I have like an entire playlist that I just listen to, and I'm always like, you only got one shot to make it right, just it's embarrassing. But yeah, it's real cheesy, very basic. Those two are that's my thing.
Okay, okay. Are you ritualistic at all, like when it comes to fight week or fight days specifically?
In a sense, like I always go through the same emotions in the sense that I start to accept that the process in which my body gets ready for the fight. And I just, in the beginning, you used to be like, man, I need to get amped up. I need to feel like psycho crazy. And I just realized, like, at this point, that is not my process. And I'm more like just a chill person in the back. I'm not, you've always see like at different types of athletes, there's athletes that scream and beat their chest and they're just nuts. And I'm always like, man, maybe I should be like that. I don't know. But it's just never been my speed. I'm just more like kick back, relax, get my warm up, and accept that like that's my process. And I'm just chilling. I'm just relaxing, you know? But yeah, and then like right when I get in the cage, I'm always like, okay, cool, this is what we're gonna do, and just executing the plan. So this is, everything looks different for everybody, you know. That's one thing that I've realized. And then just the songs, I listen to the songs on repeat, my playlist, as far as rituals, I guess.
Gotcha. Totally. Because, yeah, I mean, just like you said, in terms of like temperament and demeanor and all of that, like, I feel like that is something that is unique to each person. And if you go out there and you try to fabricate something or you try to be somebody that
Yeah.
you're not, it's eventually like it might work a time or two, but if it's not authentic to you, then I feel like it's energy that you use in unintended ways. Like if
Mm-hmm.
if you being a trash talker or someone who like is super like expending yourself in that way, if that's natural to you, and like I mean I have some friends across the fight game who that is just who they are, like that's who they are 24/7. It doesn't
Me
matter if there's a
too.
camera on or if they're in front of if they're in front of nobody, they're like tuned up and that's their energy. That
Yeah,
for them is no different, right?
right. But you could tell, like, I think you can kind of tell, like, when someone's really trying to put on a show for like the audience, or even like, I don't know, you can just tell when things are fake, it's fake, and when it's real, it's like, all right, this dude's about it, or this woman is about it, or just things look different. And when that shit is fake, you could tell.
Oh yeah, totally, totally, totally.
Hmm.
And I think that you saying that you just kind of keep your cool and calm approach or have a very relaxed vibe about it.
Hmm.
That also, I think you owning your game or owning your style, I think that also for every fighter that comes with a certain sense of maturity within the game though too. Because
Yeah.
early on, like just like you said, there is a certain sense of like bravado or aggression that comes along with it. Like, oh, I need to be redline, but that isn't going to work for everybody. And
Yeah.
if you're able to, I guess, have the self-awareness to
Mhm.
understand that, hey, you know what? This doesn't work for me. I've got to be more authentic to myself and let that go to work. Then I think that that's a level of maturity that a lot never even have the chance to get to. Like they
Yeah.
get washed out way before they even get to that point.
Because I don't know, I couldn't understand that process. It definitely wasn't for me. I was just like, dude, this isn't right, dude. I used to like try and overwork. It was always like, all right, I gotta work out to warm up my legs. It was just like, I want to feel like just like warmed up, and I just realized, you know what, like this is what it is for me. And that's always like the first round where I'm always, hey, like I'm ready. I break that sweat. I'm in it. I'm locked in.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, so just as we tie things up here for you, I just want to give you the opportunity and give you the floor. Is there anything that you want to get out there, whether it be fight, personal message, whatever it may be, that you want to get out there to friends, family, supporters, anybody out there that we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, of course. Ooh, I love this part. So I always get to shout out Serenity and Nelly. Those are my two little girls. And it's always like an opportunity for me to be like, I love you guys. Mommy's gonna work hard for you. And I just that's it. I love you. That's all.
Awesome. Well, one last time, Taylor, where can people follow you?
On Instagram, Taylor at Taylor underscore Mauldin 93.
And Fight Night, that is going to be September 20th, folks. That is Baroka MMA presents XFC 53. You have all the information for the falls. We're going to have that there on the screen for you there as well. Going down in Las Vegas. I'm most likely going to be out there for the card, so I can't wait for that as well. It's going to be a great chance for everybody to check out some of the scene of some of the best that's not in the UFC or in any of the other major organizations getting it after it that weekend. Lots of eyes going to be in Las Vegas. Lots of big names and personalities going to be in attendance directly live. If you're in that Southern Nevada area, you should be there at this card on September 20th. Guys, I just want to say one last time, thank you all so much for following along, and thank you, Taylor, for joining us with us today. Is there anything else that you want to get out there?
No, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor, for joining us here along today. I'm Jordan Kurtz with the MMA Plug on Mile High Sports. Stick around after the break, folks. We'll get back to you with some more combat sports coverage.